Unfortunately, in many countries around the world, it is not easy when it comes to accessing fresh, clean, drinkable water. Long walks across villages and difficult terrain is usually required to get access to this precious life source. Pictures like these are very unfortunate. However, in many countries, they are part of day-to-day life. One of these countries being Benin, one of the most poverty-stricken countries in the world. Overall, only around 65% of the Beninese population has access to safe drinking water. For the most part, the population lives in urban areas, but in remote locations, aid is urgently needed. Before work commences, prayers are observed, and with God's help, challenges are faced head-on. A team from Humanity First has set itself the mission of providing clean water to the people. People who urgently need it. There is a lot of excitement, especially since there are two projects in this effort that have never happened in this form. The Humanity First and IAAE team are interested in implementing a pilot project together today. A solar-powered variant of a water pump is to be tried out here. This is the first of 5 solar pumps planned for trial. Currently, the inhabitants of the village of Z have to travel long distances to obtain water. Access to the water in the wider area belongs to either individuals or owners of small businesses who sell clean water as a secondary source of income. The use of our water point will be free for the residents of Z, as well as for all neighboring villages. As work progresses, part of the team remains overnight. The other part travels back to start preparations to install a hand pump in another remote village. Our next destination is a village on the riverside, approximately 1 hour north of the capital. The main livelihood of the people here is fishing. Due to inadequate infrastructure, this village is not accessible by ground. On the way to the village, unpaved roads have to be negotiated, partly through wooded areas, which are not possible to be driven through. Many makeshift bamboo bridges make it difficult to bring heavy equipment to the village. And finally, at the last hurdle, a river must be traversed by wooden rowboats. It soon becomes apparent that the construction of a well in this village is not an easy task. However, something urgent needs to be done, as people here are using marshy, contaminated water. The next water point is simply not possible for a daily walk of more than 13 kilometers under difficult conditions. Work begins and the villagers are providing assistance. The village is underwater during several months of the year. This is why the houses are built on stilts. Our hand pump also needs to be constructed higher. Thus, a platform with a staircase is required, which can be scaled in drought conditions and is above the waterline in high tide conditions. In spite of the many obstacles, with God's help, our team is able to carry out this challenge. An isolated village with very little interaction with development finally gets access to clean water for the first time. There is immense joy and gratitude. Our team leaves the village comforted with smiling faces.